Welcome back, and today we are talking about the Year 4 multiplication check. So this is the test at the end of Year 4 that assesses whether or not the children have learnt all their times tables, which is a really important skill to know because it kind of forms the bedrock of so many different parts of maths as they grow through Year 4, Year 5, Year 6 and on to comp. If their times table and multiplication knowledge is secure, then they can access so many more parts of maths. So it's a really important skill to learn, and the check at the end of Year 4 just assesses whether or not they have done that. It's not a check or a test in terms of like SATs when there's an assessment guide and there's a standardized score and published results are compared across the country. It's just a check to see how they're doing and to remind them, to make sure and kind of motivate them to get their learning done throughout the year so they're ready by the end of the year. Now, before we jump straight into that, I just want to let you know about something that I found recently called Chase. Chase is an app. It's a bit like an online banking app, a bit like Monzo or Starling. And if you go through the link down below, then you can do what I did and you can sign up. It's absolutely free to log in. And when you do, and you are referred by someone, so if you click on the link down below and you get my referral code, then we both get £20. So when you put £20 onto your Chase bank account, then they'll give you £20 free in your rewards. You can transfer that into your bank account and then withdraw all 40. So it's literally as a free £20. All you need is to be 18 years old and in the UK and have a driver's license or a passport. And it really is that simple. It takes 10 minutes. I did it, my wife did it. I know various other people that have done it recently. And so yeah, if you do want just a free £20, it might pay for a takeaway tonight, it might pay for something nice to do over half term one day. Then click on the link down below in the description, go to Chase, download the app, sign up, deposit £20, and then 10 minutes later you'll be able to withdraw £40 and you'll be £20 up. So that's simple. So do go have a look at that if you think that's your cup of tea. And apart from that, we're going to get into what the Year 4 times table check is and how it works. So to start off with, the Year 4 times table check has been open since March. Now that doesn't mean you can actually start doing it since March, but you can access the service online. You can sign up your class, you can get them all logged in, get their addresses, get the usernames, that kind of thing all set up. You should have kind of already done that by now because it does actually start from straight after half term. So the timetable check runs for the first 3 weeks after half term from the 6th of June. I think that's till the 24th of June. And at any point over that time, the children can log in and do the timetable test. Now, they do recommend that children have a go at doing it in the first 2 weeks. And that just means that over that time, if anyone's off school on a holiday or just off school ill or anything like that, then they've got time in that last week to catch up and do it then. Or like if there's a technical issue during that first week, then they can have a go at it again on a later date. So I do recommend you get started with it as soon as possible, just to make sure everyone has time to work through it themselves. Now, the check is quite straightforward. All they do is they give you a whole load of quick times table questions and you have to answer them. I think it's 24 times table questions that you get. You get 6 seconds to answer each question. You get a 2-second pause between the questions. I've just been having a look through the video and realised that I said a 2-second pause between questions. It's actually a 3-second pause. And they just come up on a white blank screen in black writing and you have to use the keyboard on your computer to answer them. So it is very straightforward, it's very simple. And there's so many ways to help prepare for that, which I'm going to go into in a few minutes. But yeah, it's a very nice, easy way of having a go at doing what is your times tables. It's quite straightforward. And Year 4, they need to start learning all of their times tables. So in Year 2, they start doing like the 2s, the 5s and the 10s. In Year 3, they do things like the 4s, the 3s, the 8s, and then by the end of Year 4 they should have learned all the times table all the way up to 12 times 12. So at that point they should be ready to go and doing their times table check. Now when the children do the check, there is various access arrangements they can have to make sure that they can get on and do the work as best as they can. So you can do it on a touchscreen on an iPad, you can use the mouse if you want to click on the numbers, or you can use the keyboard in front of you. They have assessed from when children did it last year, and they do say that obviously using a mouse is normally slower, so they recommend a touchscreen or a keyboard, but it's whatever suits the children best that you are working with. There's various other access arrangements, such as you can change the contrast on the screen, so you can change it to like blue and yellow or some other colours, and this obviously helps children that maybe struggle with their vision and can't necessarily see black and white quite as well, but can see other colours better on the screen. They can make sure they can change that in the settings to have that set up ready for them, and they can practice and get used to that before they do the actual assessment. You can also change the font size on the screen if you enable that for different pupils, so if they are harder sight and they can't see the font size quite so well, or maybe if they're sat a bit too far away, they can obviously come close to the screen, and they can change the font size on the screen to help them too. So there's various different ways that you can make sure that children are accessing the times table check as best they can. Another way some children can have a bit of extra help from doing this test is there's a 30-minute time limit on doing all the questions. Now if you do it using the standard 3-second pause between questions and 6 seconds of question, then that will be done obviously much quicker than 30 minutes. But you can enable a next button, so the questions will pause once a question comes on the screen, it'll then pause. Children can answer when they're ready, and then they can hit next. Now that does mean that obviously they might run out of time if they don't hit next quickly enough, but it does give them a little bit of extra time between each question, and maybe for the easier questions they'll speed through them a lot quicker, and then the hard ones will have a bit more time on near the end. Now one of the big changes that has happened to the timetable check from when I first did it. I think the timetable check started in my first year of teaching. So when I was teaching year 4 in my first year, we did the trial of it, and we had a go at it and kind of saw what it was like. And when we did that trial, we got told that the pass mark for the timetable test was actually full marks. They gave him 24 questions and the pass mark was 24 out of 24. And if you didn't get 24 right, then that was it. And now, as you well know, doing any test, getting 100% on any test is almost impossible. It's so hard to keep your focus, to keep going, to get them all right. And so that kind of really, it stressed me out quite a lot because I was in my first year anyway. I wanted the children to do as best they could, and I wanted them to do as best as they could for me as well as for themselves. And so it worried me quite a lot to see how actually getting 100% right, I would struggle to get 100% right every time doing a timetable test, never mind the children who are learning it as they are practicing doing this test. And so yeah, that was quite difficult, and I thought it was quite harsh at the time of the government to kind of set that as the grade for children to have to pass. And so since then they have now changed it. So I was having a look through the documentation online a few days ago, and they've actually set it now at there is no standard threshold, there is no pass mark for this test. It's purely for the children to have a go at to see how they are doing, and for the schools to know how the children are doing, and just kind of a bit of an assessment to make sure we know where they're at with their times tables. So it's really important to tell the children all they need to do is do their best. They don't need to get a certain grade. It's not going to help them get into year 5 or do anything more in the future. It's just the fact that it's a good assessment to say, look, this is what we want you to be. And our schools might set your own thresholds. They might say, oh yeah, we really want you to get this grade out of so many. But actually there is no threshold they have to meet. They just have to try their best, work really hard, and hopefully show them that by learning these timetables, it's not just to pass a test, but it's going to help them in year 5. It'll help them in year 6. It'll help them when they're older going through comp. It's going to be really, really beneficial for them to do the best they can. So that is the year 4 timetable check. I wish all the year 4 teachers out there good luck. Do it if you're doing it soon. Do let me know how you found it this year, getting ready for it. Obviously it has been a bit of a disrupted year still. That we've not had any kind of school closures, which has been nice. We've managed to get through a whole school year all in school for the first time since what it would be 2018-19 school year. So it's been a long time since we got through a full school year actually in school, but there has been disruption, and hopefully it hasn't affected you guys too much. Obviously SATs have just happened in year 6 and year 2, so they've all just kind of been and gone through, and so now it's on to the year 4s to do their multiplication check. So I wish them all good luck. Do let us know how you're getting on, and I do think, as much as whether or not you need another test in year 4, whether that's necessary, I don't really know, but I do think with the times tables it's such an important skill to learn. It's so important for their fluency, to make sure they're confident in their kind of standard methods of addition, multiplication, subtraction, division. Those types of things are so important for children to get to grips with, and they do kind of really start coming in year 4 and year 5. So if by the end of year 4 children can have a really solid knowledge of their times tables, that will really help them as they progress through year 5 and 6. So I do think it's a good thing to make sure children are focusing on in their year 4 lessons. Whether or not you agree with it being kind of a statutory test across the country or not, I don't really know where I stand on that. I'd love to hear your views, to be honest. I'd love to hear what you guys think, whether you think it's necessary or not. But I do think it's something that's really important to focus on in year 4, and so I wish all the teachers and all the children good luck that are about to do it. And if you want to know any more about the times table check or anything like that, then the government does have a lot on their website. And as always, just ask me a question in the comments and I'll try and guide you to the right spot. So thank you very much for watching this, guys, and I will see you very soon. There's a new video on a Tuesday, a Friday, and a Sunday.